Hey, it's Dustin Cannon here from Factor 7 Media. Listen, if you're a professional or an attorney and you want to market your practice with seminars or workshops, or maybe you've tried before without much success, then stick around because the next few minutes, I'm going to share a workshop formula that will change everything if you follow it to the T. I'm going to show you how to get more people to register and then show up for your workshop. I'm going to show you 2 words that will get 17% more people to register and how to increase the percentage of people who schedule a consult after the seminar is over. Now, I've been doing webinars and workshops for 16 years now, and I first discovered this formula around 2006. I was doing teleseminars for my business back then and having only average success, but I decided to implement this formula after learning it from a colleague. I remember back in 2006, I was doing teleseminars for my business and getting average results. I then decided to implement this formula during a teleconference where I was teaching but also pitching my service at the end. Without exaggeration, within 30 minutes of the seminar ending, I did over $300,000 in sales. And I'd never done anything close to that from a workshop or a teleseminar. Now, I know that as a teacher, you want to just teach and share and provide the resources that people need. But the truth is, in 90 minutes, you can't give them everything that they need to implement a lot of what you'll teach. And so ultimately, the best way that you can help people is if they schedule a consult when it's over. If you want them to take action and schedule a consult, you've got to inspire them and give them the belief that what you're teaching can help them with your help. Now, I know that you're not going to be pushing for a sale most likely at the end of the workshop, but the fact is, you're doing this because you want people to find value, remember you when it's over, and schedule a consult ultimately when they're ready. Okay, let's get right into it. How to get more people to register and show up. If you want to get more people to register for your workshop, you have to be very clear about what it is they're going to get out of it. You have to focus on one thing. What is the one thing you want your seminar to accomplish? And it has to be tied into what they truly want. You know, it's common for professionals and attorneys to use titles that are more aligned with a means to an end instead of what people truly want in terms of a goal. That is one of the reasons that they have trouble getting people to register for their seminars. Lawyers especially, it seems, have a tendency to use titles and photographs that focus on the process or the means to an end instead of the actual end goal. For example, they will create a page about divorce mediation and put pictures of people sitting in conference rooms during mediation. But don't you see, that's like a travel agency showing pictures of people waiting in line at the airport when they're really trying to sell them a vacation to the Bahamas. For example, if you want people to learn how to make the children the priority in divorce, most attorneys or professionals would come up with a title like Making the Children the Number One Priority in Your Divorce. Some might register for that seminar, but I don't think very many would actually show up. Making the children the priority in divorce is really more like a means to an end. And so you have to ask yourself, what is the end that people really want? What do they talk about when they come in for a consult and share their concerns about how divorce is going to impact their children? Maybe they typically say they want to protect their children from being traumatized by divorce. And it turns out that might be what you want to teach them as well. And that's why you want to teach them to make the children the number one priority, because you know it'll help protect them from being traumatized. So a better title might be Protecting Your Children from Being Traumatized by Divorce. But we can improve the title even more by adding 2 simple words, how to. How to protect your children from being traumatized by your divorce. Do you know that case studies have found that those 2 words increase engagement by 17%? I have personally found that when I use those 2 words, I get 20 to 25% more registrations. Here's a conductor analysis or study of different headline types, and you can see 17% preferred how-to headlines, but 36% preferred headlines with numbers. Now, I always recommend split testing different versions so that you can see which one gets best results. With my clients, we will split test different versions simultaneously in real time so that we can really see what people are responding to the best. So with that in mind, we might want to test something like 3 ways to protect your children from being traumatized by your divorce. That is going to get significantly more registrations than the original title. Let's talk about the introduction for a moment. In your introduction, you need to make a promise that will be used as a ruler by which people will measure whether the content has been valuable use of their time. It will align with that one thing. It might be something like, regardless of your situation, by the end of this seminar, you will have 3 ways that you can implement to protect your children from being traumatized by divorce. Next comes the hook. Now, the purpose of this is to keep people engaged and looking forward to it at the end. It might be something like, at the end of the seminar, we're going to give you our Making the Children #1 resource packet, which includes blah, 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 blah. We'll talk more about that. And by the way, throughout your presentation, the more that you can get people to nod their heads in agreement or say yes, the more they will like you, the more they will remember you, and the more likely they will be to hire you. So you should be asking questions like, would this resource packet be something that would be helpful to you? Would a parenting plan like this reduce the stress in your divorce? Things like that, just as a natural part of your presentation. Anything to get people nodding their head or saying yes. All right, next you qualify yourself. This is to reaffirm why they're there, why they should be listening to you. And by future pace, I mean restate the one thing and the 3 things they will learn. You then have 3 secrets or points that will support that one thing we talked about. Basically, there are 3 things that go into the heading, at this workshop, you will learn. The one thing is what they need to believe, okay? So in this example, you need them to believe that there's a way to get divorced that minimizes the negative consequences to the children. And so the 3 secrets should relate to false beliefs that people might have about that. Now, the goal of these 3 secrets is to identify what their false belief patterns are with regard to that one thing, shatter those false belief patterns, and then rebuild them. So let's say your goal is to convince people that collaborative divorce can minimize the negative impacts on the children during divorce. And let's say that you're aware of a false belief most people have that divorce hurts children, but it's actually not divorce, but the process that hurts children. And so the #1 secret might be 3 ways to divorce that protect children. Now that people know, and so your secret #1 might be 3 ways to divorce that protect the children. Now people might know from this title that you're going to talk about ADR. You may want to shatter any false belief patterns that people have about ADR. Now I'm just making this up, I don't know, but maybe people have the false belief that collaborative divorce is not as effective as traditional divorce at protecting their interest, or that it forfeits their right to court if needed. And so secret #2 might be something like how to make the children a priority while protecting their interest and without jeopardizing your rights. Anyway, I think you get the point. Also, an effective strategy for keeping people engaged from the time that they register until the date of the seminar is to provide pre-workshop or pre-seminar work. After they register, provide them with a downloadable PDF workbook or something that keeps them engaged. I found over the years, and for whatever reason, people they attach a high perception of value to worksheets. Do this, and I assure you, more people will show up. The other thing I recommend is a pre-seminar survey that people complete online immediately following registration. Now, you might get more people to complete the survey if it's confidential, and that's fine. But the information will help you to, 1, deliver a better workshop, 2, segment your leads, and you can use it for that even if you make it confidential. And it will also help you to prepare a more effective close, and I'll come back to that. So let's talk about the close. Many professionals simply end their presentation and ask if anyone has questions. And then they get disappointed that nobody becomes a client afterwards. But if you want people to take action, you have to tell them what to do. Now, depending on your area of practice and the results you got from your pre-seminar survey, you may or may not want to recommend they schedule a consult. That may be too big of a threshold to cross at this point in the relationship, but you need to recommend a next step to continue building that relationship. You could give them, like an information packet that they can take home that includes worksheets or exercises or more information about your firm. Within that content, you can have a call to action to schedule a consult. One of my clients has a paperback book that we have ghostwritten for them. It was originally an ebook, but we created a paperback as well. And we give that to everyone who shows up for the workshop. But whatever you do, you need to give them some direction on what the next steps are. All right, so I know we went through this quickly, but I hope it was helpful. If I can help you in any way to grow your practice, please visit my website, which is factor7media.com, and schedule a 15-minute strategy call. Thank you.